2-1, I am live, supposedly. Hello, everyone, wherever you are and whatever time zone you're in. Hello, this is Avenue X, and this is my June 2025 live stream. Slightly earlier than usual. And let me know if you're hearing me okay. I think it is okay. At least on my end, it looks okay. If there's anything wrong, let me know. I have about 20 to 30 seconds lag, so it's not gonna be. Hello, familiar faces and familiar names. Ayuna Day, hi, you're here again. You always show up. Jennifer, hi, hello. So it's working, apparently. Otherwise, it wouldn't be like this. Nigeria, wow. How's everyone doing? We're in June. We're in the second half of 2025, believe it or not. Time flies. First time here. Hi, doctor. Doctor, welcome. Yes, I've been well. I am very fortunate to be well in this currently going mad world everywhere considered. You know, if you're in Japan, you can't afford rice. If you are in LA, you cannot get out of your room. And then there are other even more horrible places in the world that you really don't want to be in. So, in that sense, I am super well and very fortunate. What an insane world and month we've had. I think from May to June, everything is like insanity overload. Yeah, June is moving fast. It feels like yesterday it was June the 1st. And June the 1st in China is Children's Day. It's like kids are off on that day. Yeah, the world is crazy. It does not make sense. Like, nothing makes sense anymore. That's what it is. So in comparison, you know, whether Dramaland is doing that well or not really is like no big deal. Oh, exams in a week. Well. Depending on how well you've studied, SRSH. If you've always done the work, then, you know, a week before it is not going to make a huge difference. Depending on also how big the exam is. Messy weather. Yeah, we've had a few days of warmth and then we got cold here. Like last night was really cold. It was like tempting to switch on the heater because it was cold. But then today it kind of climbs up again. 45 degrees. Wow, really? What's the humidity though in Pakistan? What's the humidity? Because that's kind of what hammers in the nail, the humidity. If it's 45 degrees, but it's 20%, 30%, it's actually not too bad. But if it's 60%, 70%, it's... Well, I'm used to high humidity when I was in Chongqing. It usually gets to 80 to 90% all the time. So it's actually really bad for your health if you stay in that level of humidity, I realized. Because last year I went back from November to February this year. So it's pretty much the whole winter in Chongqing. And because it's so wet, and I haven't been in a wet place during winter for over a decade, because I never go back home in winter. So I guess I'm totally unadjusted to very wet, cold winter. And they did a number on every system I had. Yeah, like my whole body was just not happy about it at all in every aspect. Like the wetness is really bad. Oh, 23% is not bad. Like if you have 83% and you have 45 degrees, that's when you want to die. That's when you want to jump into a river and not getting out of it. Fridge turning on during your videos. My fridge still turns on during my videos. One thing is, I think the mic I use currently doesn't pick up sound that's too far away from me, so that you don't hear it, but it's on all the time, actually. The other thing is it broke down once a few years ago, and then it got one part fixed. And after fixing, it no longer makes that weird noise. So. So, June, currently ongoing dramas. iQIYI has the Feud. Like, I don't know why, but they probably think that that's cooler than Blossoming. Anyway, that's Zheng Xuanxi and Bailu Fantasy Idol. That went live on Friday last week. And then we have Litchi Road on Tencent. That went live on Saturday. We have the 7 Relics on Youku. That went live on Sunday. And yesterday, I think the Abyss thing went live, but I haven't checked that one out. So we suddenly had like 4 dramas just newly kind of showed up. And I've watched the 3. So the Abyss Dweller thing, I haven't checked. I haven't had time to even click it open. Because I spent yesterday, the whole day, watching 3 dramas, catching up with all its episodes and doing other things. So I couldn't make time to watch the other one. Those are the currently newly aired ones. And the finished ones I've already made video on, like What a Wonderful Life. And then the other stuff. So, May and June has been main up to like now, June is meh, is like nothing exciting has happened. It's like nothing embarrassingly bad has happened, but nothing exciting. And depending on how you term embarrassingly bad, What a Wonderful World is certain departments is confusingly bad. Certain department is like, yeah, you can tell it's still like a high standard production, but didn't do well at all, that drama. I'm not surprised at all because that director is known to do stuff that doesn't work out. So the current ongoing 3 dramas, don't know how many people are watching them. Wow, 41 degrees 79, don't go out, don't go out. You're gonna literally walk into a sauna, basically, outside. And unwillingly getting literally steamed. It's so bad. So, we can briefly talk about ongoing dramas because I've watched them pretty much all up to date. Like, today's episode, I haven't watched The Feud and Litchi because it's only morning. I haven't had time. But I did check out the 7 Relics today. So, in terms of going live chronologically, Feud was... I was up to like yesterday episode 12, so I'm pretty up to date. I'd say the first episode really put me off because it's so tropey and familiar. And so tropey and familiar, right? Like I said, I don't like the fact that she sings the song for the drama because she doesn't really sing well, let's be honest. If she sings in the drama as a character for a bit, like I understand that. But if she sings the title song, it's like, what's the point? Find a professional singer. Get it professionally produced. So... like, I didn't buy into that. It's like a bad first impression. And then when the drama starts, you know, like the whole Zheng Xuanxi is the god who comes from up above with white hair. And she just like really likes the first time she sees him. Like later you find out, yeah, it's kind of a plan. But it's just too... Also, like, I don't like the fact that when Bailu is in the earlier parts of the drama, her hair... they didn't even bother to dye her hair back to black. She had like her probably her own hair that's like brown. That's been dyed. And she just used her hair. So her hair is like half black, half brown. And it just looks so sloppy. If you're professional production, you should just get a hair color you know, like how difficult is that? 20 minutes. She already has black hair naturally, just dye it back to black and it'll be fine. But she has like half brown, half black hair. It's just so bad at the beginning. It really put me off. Her singing, her hair. It's like, it just makes me feel they don't care about details. And then the guy shows up and he's such a tropey setup of God. You know, think about Love and Destiny, Zhang Zhen's character, right? It's really just couldn't get it. And also like her sect in the world, her whatever, her teachers and her friends. These people are just so characterly designed. So I immediately was put off. So I kind of didn't watch after the first episode for a while. And then I was like, yeah, I have to do it anyway. So I was doing other things. I turned it on and let it play. Almost like half radio play, half drama. So I was watching, but not all the time. Now, I think the drama is not the worst kind of xianxia you can have. Because there are worse ones. This is, I mean, if you compare, say, to the psychological pain that I had to suffer through watching, it's a lot less than Till the End of the Moon, so to put it, because it doesn't have completely non-making sense characters and logics and literally questionable moralities of your leading characters constantly slapping at your face that makes you go, this is a despicable person. How could they possibly be a lead of a drama? In that sense, Feud doesn't have that much of a problem. But it's very child's play. Like all the tropes it has, all the guy thinks she's the incarnation or whatever of his wife, and then that's why he marries her. And then she just like the first time she sees him, he's like, oh, good, happy. Like I'm so happy. Like, you know, the first episode, she literally offers to marry him. I mean, like that does not make sense. She's nobody in that world, and he is apparently not a normal person. And it's like really odd that the girl is like, oh, I'm just gonna marry you and you have to accept it. It's like, those things don't really quite make sense, but as it goes on, it's like you can accept it, but it's so old and tropey. The character setup of Feud, there's nothing new. Every character is like, when they show up, you know exactly who they are and what they're gonna do. And it's like old wine and old bottle, all right? It's not even... new bottle for old wine. It's like old bottle, old wine. Everything is way too familiar. So I didn't get highly sort of like, let's say, engaged by it. But I did run through the 12 episodes. Honestly, I think on script level, the only good thing during those 12 episodes that has happened would be, there's one scene where the female lead talks to another girl about, she basically tells her that what you've done or what your people have done is wrong, and what is the reason behind it. Like that's what I feel like she sounds like a really reasonable good human. The other is the story between the Red Lotus and the student of our male lead, and what happened in their previous life, kind of, and then what happened now. The whole story about the Red Lotus kind of is, you know, like at least a pretty carefully thought of kind of piece in the whole drama. These are the only 2 points in the writing that I would take my second glance at the screen. I'm saying, okay, that's not bad. Everything else is just going through motions. Everything you expect, right? They go through the motions of that particular typical setup. So it's like you can watch it, but it's not gonna impress you in terms of it's being super good or anything outstandingly good. It may not offend you too much, but it's very scratching on the surface type of thing. It really isn't that interesting. And they just constantly, I mean, they do the whole thing about making Zheng Shunxi's character constantly just he's the guy who basically 吐血 all the time, right? For the earlier 12 episodes. I'm like, come on, don't keep doing that. It's kind of overdone to make the so-called super powerful guy weak. Like, yeah, how many times have Chinese dramas have done that? It's Bailu is Bailu. Bailu is like that in every drama she does. She literally copy-pastes herself, and no difference between this character and the other ones. The only difference would be different hairstyle, really, and makeup and costume. It's her all the time. And the other thing that I don't quite buy into Feud is Zheng Shun. She doesn't look like the type of really high immortal that everybody is like, he's revered, and pretty much where he is, everybody is lower than him. So he's the top guy, right? Everybody is like below him. He just has like those puppy eyes and that looking way too young face, or not like in terms of like he's 15, but he doesn't look like the guy who'd be sitting on the throne and commanding and everyone would follow and having no problem. He doesn't have that presence yet. Maybe 10 years later he would, but right now he just doesn't have it. And they have this white wig with him, and he's trying to play the big boss, but he looks like a kid. He's more like a crown prince than the emperor, right? That type of vibe. It's just like at this point of his life, he doesn't sell a super high level god in that way. So every time he's trying to play serious and taking that sort of position of I am the top of the whole, I just can't believe it. It does not make sense. His presence doesn't convince me, so I can't take the story seriously. That's like a huge problem for me. Not only his contemporary, he's just too, like the size of his eyeballs, right, in comparison to his face is way too, like when you get to that size, you look like a doe, you look like a cute animal, you look like a child, because that's child's proportion with their face and eyes. That's just naturally how human brain would read a face. An adult would not really have that big an eye and then still sell it. Right, he just looks way too like a young guy. So if he plays a high god's like student, a disciple, son, crown prince, okay, I think that makes sense. If he plays the guy, he's way too not looking like that. And so I couldn't really believe this plot just because he doesn't look like the part. And also, his acting doesn't really cancel out that effect. He doesn't have like groundbreaking, earth-shattering, tear-jerking performances that makes you ignore that he doesn't look the part. He's by no means close to that. So, everything considered, also he gets dubbed, right? And the dubbed voice is not his voice, and I know. So that also takes me out. So everything takes me out. And it's not that bad. It doesn't have colossal morality problems like certain dramas have, so I can still watch it, but it still needs extra convincing for me to say every day going back to it, just because I know I'm not gonna get super entertained by it type of situation. So that's Feud. I've watched up to episode 12 yesterday. Let me look at what people are saying. Yeah, Liu Xueyi, you know, like Liu Xueyi would have that, would convince you more like he could be in that position. Whereas Zheng Shunxi is just too adorable. He has this puppy face, right? That you can't take him seriously. Prisoner of Beauty would be a lot better if they cut like 10 episodes off. It's a 20 episode story, really. They made it 30 something and it's too much. It's so much water in it. You know, just think about Blossom. It's literally the same story as Blossom, almost. Because Blossom initially is an reincarnation story, right? And Prisoner of Beauty is a reincarnation story too, from the novel. They didn't do it in the drama, but it's actually that. And think about the girl, clever, but in other ways weak because she's not a martial art genius, and she gets married to a much more powerful guy. The guy is on the surface, right? This scary killing machine, but is actually a good guy with a revenge and a very sad background story. Think about that. It's exactly the same as Blossom last year and Prisoner of Beauty. It's the same setup, same story, but think about how much more congealed and everything linked together well, and the pacing was so much better in Blossom than in Prisoner of Beauty, because Prisoner of Beauty should be a 24 episode drama. They made it 36. It's unnecessary. Song Zuer's drama maybe, because she's got a contemporary one that's piled up. I don't know when. Liu Yuning has one that may show up in a week or two's time with Li Yitong. The Dream Within the Dream. I think that one is coming out before the end of June. It's not confirmed yet, but it's likely. So, yeah, that's for Feud. And I haven't watched Zanghai Zhuan, so in case people wonder in the Legend of Zanghai, I wouldn't be able to provide much information or my opinion on it. Because I do know about the story. Because I've seen like the plot sort of recap and stuff of it. It's too much like Nirvana and Fire. I know if I watch it, I'll start ranting. Because it's too much alike, and so you have something to compare to. And I doubt currently in 2020s, dramas can compare to the 2014-15 drama. It's just not the same market and even people working. So I don't even need to watch it. I know it's not going to be impressive in terms of its plot and its logic. So I didn't. Also, I do know that this drama has parts of it that has to do with tomb raiding, right? They go to ancient people's tombs and they open it up and do stuff. And the awkward thing about this drama is when the drama is airing, they grabbed a museum and they promote this drama with the museum, and the museum even makes merchandise related to the drama. And you know, on the official level, digging out graves without, it's like not from the official organizations, is a crime, right? It's a crime. And it's odd for a museum to collaborate with a drama that has people raiding ancient graves. It's very morally questionable. You can't do that. And it's even more funnier that while this drama is ongoing, iQIYI has the anti-tomb raiding and historical artifact protection drama ongoing. That's a contemporary one. So I'm like, who is the genius of Zanghai Zhuan who had the idea of promoting this drama with a museum? Like, what are you thinking? It's very confusing. I don't get why they do it. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not gonna go into this drama. It's way too weird. Yeah, I know, it's even if it's not a big part of the drama, the fact that they actually really did work with the museum to do that, it's weird. Because the only relevant thing about that museum and this drama that links them together is the tomb raiding. But museums are the official organizations of the country that protects historical artifacts. That is against the tomb raiding. You see like how weird that is? So I don't get it. It's just like very questionable actions from the drama. I don't think it's a proper thing. They shouldn't be doing that. And then also I don't have time to watch that many dramas anyway. So that one is a pass. What else? Somebody said Peter Ho. Yeah, he showed up in Prisoner of Beauty, which is so weird. Like, he just guest starring, I guess, very guest starring, and he's funny. It's like, I never practiced, yet I have all the muscle. Like, you believe him. The only thing I think it's cool to see is he's probably one of the best kept actors, because he's like what, in his 50s now, and he looks still so young. He's in such good shape, and he doesn't age. Like, his face, you can tell he's no longer obviously 20 years old, but compared to a lot of other 50-year-old guy who would have aged in certain ways, he almost doesn't really age in any of those typical ways. He's still youthful. Like, his energy is very, very youthful. I think He Rendong in his private life must be a really simple and happy guy. Because if you don't have that childlike attitude and very carefree spirit, you're not gonna look that young by 50. the time would have left a lot of things on you, but he still looks like a child energy. I'm like, wow, this guy must be such a good guy. At least he has like really good balance, like a mental balance of everything. Otherwise, he wouldn't look that young at this age, and very impressive. Yeah, Filter. Yeah, Filter was probably the only good romantic. Passionately in Love, I watched a little bit. I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. It's such a nothing going on, romantic young kids drama that barely has anything interesting ongoing. And I mean, in comparison to Wang Anyu's recent drama, the 值得爱, right? It's like so not on the same level. So not on the same level. I can't watch it. It's too child's play. Be passionately in love. Although the coolest thing about that drama is they picked Zheng Li as Wang Anyu's mother, and they really do look like their shots when their faces are angled in the same way, and it's in one shot. It's like wow, it's like copied profile line, copied 45-degree line between the mom and the son. It's like one of the best casting I've seen because they literally look like the same. Like the DNA is literally printed on the son. Thank you from Europe, Sandy. Crochet, knit, yarn. Oh wow! So you're doing. There was a time that I really liked crocheting and having fun, but then I fell out of it. So you must be those cool people, Sandy, who would be watching television and then knitting and not looking at their hands and still being able to do the things. Yeah. Yeah, Feud is like, you can watch. Oh, wow. Cool. That kind of skill, hey. And also, actually, knitting is quite complicated because you have to read the patterns. You have to remember how many like slips or you do, where you let it go, where you don't. And then on the other, like flip around on the other side, then you have to do, like it's actually mentally, like you have to calculate the numbers. I'm like, and then if you make one mistake, you have to go back and fix it. So if you make a whole sweater, like there's so many stitchings in it, and I mean technically you shouldn't make any mistake. Like how do you do that? I have no idea. It's too much. It's too complicated. Adopted father, really? Wang Yu Jinchen drama, yeah, I've seen that one. He's the athlete and she is the coach, right? I think in that one. He wants to be a high jumping guy, but he's not really made for it type of situation. A plain blanket. Much easier than crocheting. Yeah, because crocheting is that hooked needle with one needle that goes in and out and in and out, right? That's pretty intense too. Also tatting, because I know tatting is like that too. It's like lacing with that shadow, like a tiny plastic shadow that has a tip that you just do that. Because I've done that before too. It's pretty fun, but too much trouble. And then don't even get started with that. Like lacing with all those handles and like you do this. I'm like, oh, how do you even remember? Yeah, Feud is pretty bland. I think bland is actually a really accurate word for it. It's not too bad. It's not gonna offend you. It's nothing impressive. That's it. Then Litchi Road aired on Saturday. So today it's I haven't watched today's episode's update, but yesterday I watched it. It's Ma Boyong, it's Cao Dun, it's Lei Jiaying again. It's like Chang'an 12时辰, longest stay in Chang'an times 2, like the second round. Different characters, different things, but pretty much the same period of time, and just different characters. And they even recycle actors from Chang'an 12时辰, so you'll see certain actors playing other characters in Chang'an 12时辰 now ended up being someone else, but in Litchi Road. I don't think the cinematography is as good as Chang'an 12时辰, even though it's done by the same director who's famous for cinematography. I don't think this one is as good as Chang'an 12时辰. It could be a lot of reasons. Maybe the budget is not as big enough or whatever as before, because, yeah, considering something that was shot in late 2010s, that was the kind of the best time for dramas to get investment and they get a lot of money. Now the market has shrunken so much. That might be one reason. I don't know, because I don't know details of the production. Cinematography is not as impressive as Chang'an 12时辰. And story so far is, I'll put it this way. At this point of the story, which is barely, I think, 1/3, if it's already giving me this feeling, I don't think it's gonna be getting better later. It probably is gonna stay the same or even get worse. So overall, after the 35 episodes run, it's gonna be a struggle for me to stay on this boat. I'm already on the brink of I don't really want to keep watching. It's not like they don't have good actors, they don't have good production standard, they have all that. Still, the problem is they don't know how to tell a good story, engage you, right? Hook you up and make you want to find out what happens. It doesn't get written in that way. The director is not really that good at controlling narrative, and it's like always what he is known for. And it just proves again, at least it's his work again. And people don't change overnight. And for a director, if you're not good at directing narrative, you kind of are not good at directing narrative. It's not gonna suddenly one day that you're good at it, right? So you see this drama is pretty much having that same problem. It's not very engagingly told, basically. It's like the story starts around, like, should be like around February, something like that, and it ends in June. So it's like about 3-4 months time where this character has to travel in a lot of places. He has to figure out how he does it. If he doesn't, he's gonna die. So in the original novel, this guy who got this task went to the south of China, and then he did multiple experiments with how to transport the fruit to Chang'an to keep it fresh, and what is the time he can steal from all kinds of tricks and stuff. And he kept running experiments to extend that time until the final round that happens. And he did manage to send the fruit into the capital. And that was like the novel. They expanded the novel by not just having the male lead, Lei Jiaying, in place as the leading character, but adding one line, which is his brother-in-law, played by Yue Yunpeng. So in the novel, there isn't the brother-in-law line. In the drama, because they extended to 35 episodes, they know they cannot fill up that space with other things because the book doesn't have. So they added a line. So these two brother-in-laws ended up all in Lingnan, and they all do, like, they're all kind of like entangled. And both of them are doing it to save their own ass, because if they don't do it, they're gonna die. So they added basically another main character. And Yue Yunpeng's acting is actually pretty good. Lei Jiaying is also pretty good. And the thing is, everyone is pretty good, but the script writing and the direction of the drama is not lending to engaging storytelling. Think about it is a one male leads or two male leads adventure of they have to do something. If they don't, they're gonna die. You feel like it needs to have high pressure on top of it, and they're always being chased after by basically getting something done. If not, then they're in danger. Yet you watch that many episodes too now, and it feels like first it's not that urgent. although it actually is. You don't feel it. They don't make you feel it, right? The second is it is being chopped up in sections as a constant string of xiaoping linked together. So if you know what xiaoping is, it's a type of comedy that Chinese people invented really only in last century, like late half. It's like a stage show with very simple setup sometimes, and people perform comedy. It's not just talking. It's not stand-up comedian where you just talk with a microphone. It's like you have a little bit props and sets and a couple of more people coming up and play. But essentially, it is still comedy. So that snippets of comedies, xiaoping usually is like 10 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes usually is very short. So this drama feels like it's just xiaoping linked together. One xiaoping after another. 10 minutes. 15 minutes after another, and they try to make everything funny, which is not making sense. So every scene they have, whether it's the male lead finding out he's being tricked by his colleagues, and he realized that he got a task that he didn't know was this task and it's gonna kill him, so he runs back to his working place and trying to confront them, like that scene. Or it is a scene that he, in his memory, he thinks of between him and his child, his daughter, when he's in Lingnan and he's missing his family, like whatever the situation is, right? Whatever the plot and situation of that scene is, they try to make it like a xiaoping. They try to make it unnecessarily funny. And I'm like, occasionally you have a little bit comedy, that's fine. But you almost feel like they just want to make one xiaoping after another, and then they just string them together into episodes. I'm like, why? I don't need the stuff to be funny here. It doesn't do anything. And now, so after watching how many episodes, 7, 8, 9, I can't remember, it just feels like a huge collection of chopped up xiaoping that's being just stitched together. And I'm losing interest. I don't care whether he succeeds, because I know he's going to succeed. He's Li Jiaying anyway. And you know in the original novel, he succeeds too. So, and also like all the experiments, he's going to run multiple experiments. They eventually led to being able to transport Litchi, which is like already, you know. So I don't know, like the drama doesn't hook me at all. The characters, the energy is... The movie, I mean, because the July movie is the same movie by Da Peng. I think the movie might be more interesting just because this story is perfect for a movie. It's the classic one hero's journey story. He gets dealt with like a really big problem right from the beginning, and he needs to solve it. There's a time limit, and there's many obstacles, and he goes through them and eventually achieves it. Like, that's a classic movie setup. 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, perfect. So if they actually keep the script on a sort of good, just like making it work basically for the movie, I think the July movie might be a lot more interesting to look at than a 35 episodes drama. You see my eye roll? And then Cao Dun again proves he can't. He can direct. He can direct. He should just stay as a cinematographer. And honestly, for a drama, right, if you cannot on plot level making it so engaging that the audiences don't care who is the lead almost, it's like it might be a mid-aged guy, it might be a young, sexy woman, it might be an old man, does not matter. The plot is so interesting, nobody cares about the superficial attractions. If you cannot make that happen, then like Chao and Litchi, then for your leads, in some way they have to be appealing. Like, what is actually appealing about Yue Yunpeng and Li Jiaying? For both genders audiences, for guys and ladies, to watch them. If it's not for the exciting plot and the really good performances, if none of that really is working, and then their face and their presence is not going to attract and keep people there. I mean, we're just all very shallow creatures where we want to look at pretty guys and pretty girls. And for Chao and Litchi, is like, who are you going to look at? It's just two mid-aged fat guy. I mean, Li Jiaying is not fat, but he has a big face. So he looks fatter than he is. Li Jiaying is actually quite skinny, but He just has a big head. And Yue Yunpeng is, you know, pretty standard fat guy on camera. So like two mid-aged fat guy who are not really that good looking and who dresses in that way and who like, why should I care? Yeah, their life is threatened by not being able to transport Litchi, but yeah, who cares, right? You know, if one of them look like Song Weilong, I may care a little bit more. It's just very honest, like, it doesn't hook you. There's nothing to sell this drama on, and if you don't have that great plot like Breaking Bad or like Sherlock, where the plot is so interesting that you don't really care. I mean, you still care, but you know, the sort of, even if the leads don't look that attractive, you can kind of go with the story. Whereas this drama is, they don't look attractive, the story is sloppy. It doesn't have the energy you expect, and it should be life-threatening for these two guys at all times, yet it's so not really having that energy. And a lot of things, they sacrifice the logic for Xiaoping, for the comedy. It just becomes very character and unbelievable, such as when Lei Jiaying arrives in Lingnan and he meets the leader of that place first time, the governor, like the Cishi, He Cishi, the actor who played actually the emperor in Chang'an 12时辰. The old guy who's like sitting like this and then eating sugarcane. You know what Cishi is in Chinese Tang Dynasty history? He is basically the #1 guy of that huge region. And because of ancient sort of like transportation and speed and stuff, for example, in Tang Dynasty, if you are a region's Cishi, you literally are the local emperor, almost like that. You have so much power. And during Tang Dynasty, one huge problem is the central power, the emperor, is too weak to control all the far away region from the capital people's power, and that caused a lot of problems for Tang Dynasty, and it was a problem from beginning till the end of the Tang Dynasty, and it's the reason it kind of collapsed halfway through. So basically, if you are Lingnan Cishi, if you are the Lingnan head, you literally are basically the local controller of everything of that place, and to think you have that much power, yet you're basically an idiot. Like, you watch how they played and written that character, the old guy, who's a literal idiot. Okay, and then his ideas come from this secretary guy who's also a character, and he's also not that clever. He's just cunning, and he kisses his ass. And these two incompetent imbecile is running that whole region, and you think that's gonna work? Like, come on, seriously. It's because they want a comedy. They want this guy to be comic, and they want Yue Yunpeng to play all those moments with this old guy, so they make him pretty much completely incompetent. And if it's like the first scene you think he's just faking it, keep watching the episodes. You realize this old guy really is an idiot. He knows nothing. He doesn't know anything. Like, how does he even hold that position? He would have been kicked off long time ago by other more talented and powerful and clever people. So the whole thing that this guy runs Lingnan and yet he's an imbecile is like so not believable. And Tang Dynasty, if you know anything about Tang Dynasty history and how the sort of 藩镇割据problem, it just is too not believable and stupid. And as I was watching and they really did make that old guy an imbecile, I'm like, I can't watch this. This does not make sense. It's not how it works. Anyway, so these things all show up in the drama as you watch, and it becomes less and less engaging and believable. And yeah, so I think I may drop the drama somewhere. Maybe I give it a couple of more episodes. But I always knew like Cao Dun's narrative on screen is just not gonna work. Because he's done so many things previously that has the same problem. People don't change overnight. So I think I'm right in this case, and I've watched up to this point, and I pretty much can say I don't have high hope for later episodes. I don't think it's gonna suddenly be good. Ma Boyoung is a really odd writer. He's successful as a writer, very, very successful. And he's got many, many novels that somehow all gets translated into visual. But his visualized stuff doesn't work on me. I've watched all of them and I find them all very not good as visual storytelling. Yet he has that luck of getting his stuff all moved to screen. Like so many writers want their stuff to be made into movie or drama and they never ever get that in their life. And this guy just gets it one after another, yet it just never quite works. I'm not watching Legend of Zhanghai and I will not, okay? So if anybody still want me to comment on that, is like I can't. I don't have the energy and time to watch that. And if it's good, it's good. You know, you like it, that's totally fine. Personally, I'm not watching it. Sorry. So, that's that. Then one day after that, on Monday, we had 7 Relics, which is episode 7 or 8 today, I think. Benedict is only really like beautiful and fresh in season 1. In season 2, he starts to age, and then he ages rapidly. Let's be honest. Somehow, you know, like for white guys, it's like there's a threshold point. They pass that, and then they start to age so fast. It's the same with like Benedict Cumberbatch, with Eddie Redmayne, with Tom Hiddleston. It's like they hit a point and they just suddenly ages. Like between their fresh flower years and then suddenly matured like mid-age guy year, it's almost like there's only half a year, 1 year that like it's only that threshold. Dude. They cross and they age so fast. Elemental, I'm not a huge fan of Elemental for some reason. I think it's good enough, but I wasn't a fan somehow of like I've watched at least 2 seasons, I think, of because Liu Yuling was the Watson, yeah, withered face. It really is odd. It's like the collagen and the fat underneath the skin just suddenly evaporates, and it happens so quickly for them. It almost always just happens within 1 movie or 1 year, and they change. Whereas I think for Asian people, it tends to happen like much slower, like gradual. Whereas for white guys, at least I notice almost always it's like happening super fast somehow. I don't know. So 7 Relics on Youku. It's because I am not a huge fan of Wei Yu's novels, so I haven't read them. Her novels are all like that, legend, mysterious, weird creatures, and it's tied to history often, what has happened thousands of years ago. So all her stories are like that, and I'm not a huge fan of that. So I haven't read it, I don't know. I know they've changed certain setups of the characters for the drama version. For example, all those legendary, ancient tomb, like whatever existing creatures and stuff gets changed in this drama into like basically aliens again, because aliens came to the earth and there are other creatures. So you have aliens instead of whatever ancient magical creatures. And I think the male lead gets also slightly changed. They are not very being clear about what he does, because in the novel I think he's mercenary, like overseas. He fights and kills people for money. And in the drama they change that, not making it that obvious. The other things I don't know, because I haven't read the novel. In terms of the story itself, it's watchable. It has a weird sense of when it gets to certain sets, you can tell it's sets. Basically, it's not a real environment, it's completely built set. And then when it gets to certain environment, you can tell it's real, and then certain other environments, you can tell it's green screened. So it's like odd kind of mixing them together. And it's a pretty interesting story. At least I think the first 2 episodes, they actually got a really complicated case that crosses a long time span and affects multiple people. They made it work pretty well and coherent, so you read it and you understand what happens. For the 2-3 episodes, it's like kind of nice. Liu Haocun and Song Weilong both are, well, young and pretty, you know. Although I would say Song Weilong's line delivery is still very bad. His Mandarin is, his 大舌头, his tongue, right? He doesn't have a nimble tongue. His tongue is not really most of the time doing the right thing. So a lot of words come out of his mouth. It's not pronounced correctly. It's like you have to look at either the subtitle or just like listen really hard. He doesn't really speak very well, basically, and he still hasn't improved at all. He's one of those actors, right? His face doesn't change over time, but also his voice doesn't improve at all. He still sounds as bad as he always has sounded when he does his own lines. It's only that it's in contemporary drama. It's not as bad as period drama, but it's still bad. And it's watchable. Like, the plot is a little bit, because it has those fantasy element in it, so it's a little bit weird. It also has those kung fu element where Liu Haocun would be fighting in a way too powerful and efficient way for her size. It's like, yes, she's a dancer, so she can do all those movements really beautifully, but you doubt about how much force she can deliver by that movement. Like, literally putting down a guy is not really making that much sense. But then and also it's in contemporary setting. It's not a wuxia, so sometimes it feels a little bit weird. It's like the way she fights is not making that much sense. It's almost like too pretty, too choreographed to be real in 21st century. If it's a wuxia, people are flying in the sky with wires, okay, that's fine. But because it's in contemporary time, right? It's the time where people use WeChat, and then you fight like that. It kind of is weird. Although I can watch it, I don't have a huge problem. I am pretty okay with so far what the plot has done, and I can keep watching. But also I cannot sort of like guarantee it's gonna be all good until the end, because it's another 30 some episodes drama, right? If I haven't remembered it wrong. And you have quite a long way to go if it can keep this and still be engaging. The other thing is, for now it's okay, these two acting, like Liu Haocun and Song Weilong, because they're young and pretty and they can fit the character, kind of like the look of it. But as time goes on, as we get more serious with the story, whether their acting will be able to convince me, and whether the shortcomings from their end, which is their acting is not that good, is gonna start to impact the drama more and more and making it not work. I mean, I'm a little bit worried about that. Also, in the early stage, up to I think episode 3-4, you already are pretty clear that she is interested in him. But it's only in her words, or she's basically given the script of she's interested in him. But actually what has happened in the drama and through their acting, I cannot see anything that convinces me that it naturally happens between them. I don't get why she is attracted to him, apart from his good looking. Because the drama really didn't convince me in the build-up of why suddenly she is interested in him. I couldn't really see it. Like, in the story development, it doesn't really get convincingly delivered to me. Although I know, like, he's a good looking guy, so you can say, like, I know upon first sight, I'm like, I'm impressed by how beautiful you are. But I still am not quite convinced why she likes him that quickly, that fast, right? She gets like interested way too soon, I think. At least it didn't convince me, but I can keep watching. And like I said, as the story goes on, I'm worried about their acting is not gonna sell it. As it goes on more and more, you find the weakness of their acting start to show up more and more, and it's gonna make it not work. That's 7 Relics. In terms of the story itself, it's watchable. It's like adventure, mystery, they're breaking cases, they're finding weird creatures, they're trying to figure out what's going on, and then go to different places to investigate, so there's pretty interesting landscape. They travel to remote villages, and I mean, some of it is shot in real location, looks impressive. Think about West out of Yumen, Rattan, that type of story. It's in the same kind of vibe world. Seven Relics Lost Tomb. No, it's not. This is at least so far with what I've seen. I haven't read the book. I don't know. But basically, the first case is what they call this. It is almost like they changed it in the drama as an alien creature that is a parasite that goes onto human body and controls your emotion and thinking and makes you go out and kill people. And when you die, it gets out of your body, like from a peeled off skin on your back, like a size of like 23 centimeters by 5. So it's like a rectangle skin on your back. It comes off, and basically the parasite is in it, and it jumps to other people to affect other people. So it's a pretty gross thing. And because the size of it, that skin, the rectangle skin, is like ancient Chinese writing, because they cut off bamboo, right? Pieces of bamboo, and they write on it. So it's like a chip of bamboo. So that's what the Chinese name of it is, I think. I haven't read the book. I don't know what is this creature, what kind of power it has, why it does this. So I'm just as blind as everyone else who hasn't read the book, and the drama hasn't finished yet. So I don't know. But so far, it's like it starts the whole story about that thing affecting people and making people kill other people, and they investigate multiple cases that's caused by it across the time, and then figure out what it is. And then so now they're at the stage where they're trying to figure out what is this creature, what is this parasite, where it comes from. So that's like the second stage. That's Seven Relics. It's watchable. If you like Song Weilong, he's very good looking. If you like Liu Haozun, she looks just as she is, right? She barely has any makeup in the drama, but she still looks like pretty good. Adventure, case-breaking, young people, occasional fights. I mean, because both of them have training background. Liu Haozun is a dancer, and I think Song Weilong actually was trained in martial art before he became an actor. He actually had years of weird training at like Shaolin or something. Unbelievable. But he actually knows how to fight, you know, probably better than most unprofessional actors in fighting. So that's Seven Relics. And then the Abyss Dweller, I haven't checked it. I may or may not, because Huang Xiaoming really is not like something that I'm eager to see. Someone who's at this point of his career. I'm worried about Huang Xiaoming again being too 我不要你觉得，我要我觉得. Okay, I'm too worried about him looking like that again. Justice in the Dark will finish soon, I think, right? A couple of 2-3 weeks more, 1, 2, because it's at what, 27, 26, 27, something like that. It's episodes, so it's only 30 episodes in total. It should have only like 2 weeks left, something like that. When it finishes, we shall see. To me, I think that this type of BL drama is, I have really also outgrown it. It's no longer that much of a thing for me. Even if it's fully allowed to air in China, I probably am gonna be like, yeah, whatever. The whole thing about Justice in Dark, I think what makes it really odd for me is I cannot quite believe the world they set up. Just because it's intentionally done to not look like mainland China. It's like a type of police, a type of investigation, type of law enforcement in that world that dresses like that, in that uniform, in that color, in that way of even typo, like typeface used, and the interior design of their offices and how they function. It is so odd. It's like not Chinese police at all. It's not any other Asian police, like not Japan, not Korean, not really like Hong Kong, Taiwan, like different areas. It's like very, very made up because I guess like to go through censorship. So they made it intentionally looking like an existing in nowhere country, and yet speaks Chinese, writes Chinese, yet does not look like Chinese, but then still played by mainland actors. It's odd. it's like really, really odd. My brain can never fully configure what world I am in. And I guess the foundation of Justice in the Dark, the world, I don't know what it is. It's like I cannot build upon it. So everything that happens almost in a way that's, I never fully understand why it is like that. It's odd, but I watch Justice in the Dark and I just constantly cannot configure. Because it's like this color scheme and this type of style looks a little bit like Japanese police drama, or at least that world. But then suddenly this part doesn't look like it's like everything is It has this weird, I don't know where I am. I cannot even find my footing. And then I don't have the full attention to the story itself. I constantly get distracted by, that's odd. Because I don't know where that is. It's not China. It's not anywhere else in the world. They're speaking Chinese. It's so confusing. They gave me really, truly a parallel universe feel. It's like, it's China, but it's not. It's our world, but it's not. And because it's not, you don't know what is the rule of that world. Therefore, you never quite kind of feel comfortably like getting into the story. At least Justice in the Dark always just vibes like that to me. Even back in the days when they released 8 episodes in one go, first like on Youku and then got taken off, I did watch those episodes and it never felt really normal. It's just odd. The whole thing vibes really odd. So when it finishes, I probably will go and just binge it. Although I didn't enjoy in the first 8 episodes when it first came out, I find it's actually really hard to swallow. I wasn't really feeling, oh, I really want to find out what happens. I never had that reaction. And probably also it's because Zhang Xincheng and Fu Xinbo just, they don't work on me. Their face don't work on me. Fu Xinbo is okay, but he only looks really, really okay when he's fully front, like the front face angle camera, then he looks fine. He cannot do any side angles. His side angles looks odd. And he's like me, who's had too flat a middle face. So the middle of the face doesn't get fully developed. It's like your bone didn't grow when you were a kid. So it doesn't come forward. It doesn't come forward. And every time I look at his side, right, Fu Xinbo's side profile, I just want to pull his, I just want to go and grab on his cheek and his nose and pull them out. I cannot help that. It's like in Sims 4, when you are making your seams, you just like adjust the face, right? You just want to grab that face and pull it forward. So every time I look at his side profile, I just want to pull on his profile. My brain, like there's a hand in my brain that's sticking its hand out and trying to grab his face and pull. I cannot stop that image in my head every time I look at him. So the problem is, even when he's doing okay acting and I'm watching it, when I see his profile, I get distracted. It's my fault. And then Zhang Xincheng, he's doing very good acting, and he probably is doing a good Fei Du or Pei Shuo, however you want to name him, that they changed the name of the lead characters. But he's the guy in BL that I cannot get any. He doesn't like, in any way feels like I don't get engaged. Basically, I don't feel attracted by him at all in any way. While I think he's doing a good performance and his character is a pretty, you know, like deserves a lot of empathy and sympathy character, I cannot get into it. It's always like watching other people doing something in front of me that's disconnected to me. I'm like, I'm watching it, but I don't get moved by them. I tried. Somehow this couple of these two actors and this particular production just doesn't get to me. I've tried it multiple times. Somehow it doesn't work. I don't know why. Zhang Xincheng never has worked on me, whether it's in this drama or any other work previously I've seen. Dramas, I just don't know why. He probably is my blind spot that does not work on me at all. I think the only character he's done, and that actually made me feel I'm really feeling bad for him and I want him to have more screen time, is in the movie 唐人街探案, the Detective Chinatown 4, that came out earlier this year, where he had a major role, but his character is like so limited to montages and stuff like this, really short. And I think he deserves like a bigger scene with John Cusack at the end, yet they didn't do it. It really didn't satisfy me. I think there should be a huge confrontation between him and these two guys. They should have a huge confrontation, yet they only happened like 2 lines and it got cut off. And I'm like, that's the only thing he's been in that I really wished he had more time, and I really was interested in his character. Everything else I've seen, which actually are pretty much everything he's done, somehow it just never worked on me. Zhang Xincheng. Whether it's with Cai Wenjing, with Li Landi, with like all the dramas I've seen him in, right? I just think somehow I don't get engaged with him at all. Weird. Tenderlight didn't work on me at all. With Tong Yao, right? Didn't work at all. And he's not a bad actor. And compared to a lot of same age actors, he's actually one of the better ones. Professionally speaking, he can sing, he can dance, he speaks pretty good English, he plays music, he do good line delivery, and all the important emotional moments he can play, but somehow, I, as a straight woman, I just never find him in any way attractive. Like, I can stare at his face 24/7. Even his face is like right up to here to me. I'm not gonna react at all. It's weird. I don't know why, but he's like, he's not active to me. If he's a chemical, he's one of those super stable. It's like a gold metal. It doesn't react to anything. It just stays there. I don't know. Weird. He's one of my blind spots in Dramaland. Is reasonably, rationally, logically, I know he's pretty good. Emotionally, I don't get touched at all by his presence. I don't know why. It's me. It's totally me. Hu Yixuan, yeah, she can be very good. Zheng Yecheng, very good. Wang Ruichang, he plays bad boy very good. Like he would have that smile. What is a letterboxd account? So, what else is ongoing? Well, after Huangyang Tiantian, although she's still active, I don't know like what's gonna happen later. Maybe if there's anything with the father that's really wrong, we'll find out later. The newly house collapsed actress would be Naernaxi, the lady who played the female general in the second movie of Creation of Gods, and she's also in Litchi Road this week. And basically she got found out that she got into a college exam under the type of policy that's basically giving ethnic minority a kind of like extra points stuff through like basically she gets a position as the Inner Mongolia student, but she actually got her high school education in Beijing. So it makes people question whether there's some going on behind thing where she actually got educated in Beijing, but then she takes an Inner Mongolia's slot for getting that kind of special treatment. Also, she's basically one of those students. Once she gets into the school, she's picked already when she gets in to have a future somewhere to go to work within the performance troops and stuff in China. So she's like basically directional 规培生. I don't know how to translate that in English because you don't have it in English. So basically it's the type of, you kind of enter the school and you already promised once you graduate you will go to this place to work type of situation. Yet she got to school and then she didn't do that. I think you have to buy off if you don't go to where you're supposed to go to work after you graduate. Like there is something like if you want to break off with this, but you have to pay in whatever compensation. I don't know if she did, but basically she got in the school with all those policies that's like in her favor. But then she got the education and then she left and she didn't do what she promised she would do. So that, because recently all China's Gaokao just happened this year, right? June, the college exam. So this is like right at the right time for that to come out. And whatever, usually a drama airs, the stars of the drama, right? They would have 对家, they would have opposite, they will have people who wanna blackmail them and whatever to try to affect the drama's rating. So usually the bad things about an actor comes out when their drama goes out. She has a small role in Litchi Road. Maybe that's why it comes out now, but then it gets exposed and then people do start digging and do find out there are things that's questionable about behind her education background and how she gets there. And these days people are very, very impatient about anybody getting special treatment. And the whole sort of you belong to the privileged class and you don't deserve what you get is like a huge pain point for general public in China. That's the thing why Huangyang Tiantian gets so Huangyang Tiantian's earring gets so triggering for people. And then her sort of getting her whatever education that may have something questionable happening behind it is also getting on people's nerves. So not good for the actors now. And I don't know. It's just these days it's silly for people to want. You would have to be very low key basically if you want to stay safe, right? Be super low profile because anything that may be triggering is gonna give you trouble. Apart from Huangyang Tiantian, Naernaxi recently, because of the girl who gave the speech at Harvard graduation, who's a Chinese, and she's gotten everything dug out of her background, her family, her parents, and it's just honestly, I saw that speech and I was very confused about the fact that first is I don't know why I find the girl, like if anybody's watched that speech that the lady delivered at Harvard, the Chinese student Jiang, when she did that, I find it's maybe she's too young. Is she too young? She's like 25, 26. Is it too young to realize she shouldn't have done it because she's so being used? She's so being taken advantage of by the people behind to put her there. Whoever that is, who decided she should be the one who go out and do that speech. She's completely used as a chess piece to do other people's bidding. And in the process, she's gonna get completely torn apart by investigation of a million people on China's internet who's gonna be able to dig out who her great grandparents are. Why would you do that? If she actually happily takes it on and think it's a great opportunity, I would only think she's so naive and blind to what is ongoing between China and US and within US, within Harvard and Trump's administration. All that shitstorm is ongoing. And isn't that clear that people pick her out to... Isn't that obvious? Why would you even take that on? That is just so... Anyway, that's nothing to do with Dramaland, but I find this whole thing is just greater than Dramaland. And then people compare her speech, obviously, to the lady from India, from MIT, who did a completely different speech when she got on the podium than everything she showed before to the school. and she was banned from taking part in the graduation later, but then she still got her degree. But I mean, compared to that lady, right, who literally stood up and in 3 minutes nonstop just flying daggers with her words at an administration and at the school who doesn't stand up for Gaza and all that. I'm like, even Greta is like the girl for you know, how dare you, girl? She went to Israel like on her boat. I'm like, come on, compared to that, like how embarrassing that is to do that speech as a Chinese at Harvard. Oh my God, it's. She's being so used, and somehow if she still feels good about that, that's so weird. Like how can you even not see that? Yeah. Yeah, the MIT girl. Yeah, I mean, at least like the MIT girl has much better English and a lot more efficient at delivering her point. Like her speech speed and how much comes out in the 3 minutes, and then how clear-headed and structured and brave, straight to the point. At all, like in comparison, right? Like compared to these couple of girls we've seen recently who's done incredible things. I look at her, I'm like, like, it's more cringy than bad acting from Dramaland. It's like 10 times more cringy because you know it's real, and it's never gonna get erased. It's gonna stay on internet forever. Even after she's dead, her grandchildren and her grandchildren will still be able to see it. This is your grandmother's. That's so bad, right? I feel like so bad. The whole thing is, I can't even stand, like I can't even watch through the whole speech. I listen to a bit and see her. I'm like, like my mirror neuron is way too strong for me to keep watching and not feeling like I can't breathe. This is so cringy, so cringy. Don't have children. I don't know. And it's not somehow, because her speech is weird and really badly done. In words, it's I mean, in its meaning, in its message, in its delivery, in her performance, everything is weird. Even in her clothing, like what is she dressed in? Like that thing. Ugh. Like for a handful, semi-expert, watching that is like pain to my eyes. Yeah, Greta, like she, you know, like earlier people would think she's just like brainwashed young kid. But if she can brainwash herself to that point to do what she did, I mean, that's like, she literally stood by her words and she meant it and she did it. And I mean, like, also like she's accompanied by the actor who played the Onion Knight, right, in Game of Thrones. It's just so funny. Like he has, because he's a sailor, right, in Game of Thrones. He's on the sea all the time. And to think that in reality, he also is doing that. The Onion Knight accompanying a girl. Because in Game of Thrones, he is really fond of the princess, right? I'm like, that's so weird. It's like Game of Thrones, like real life version ongoing. And that was like, wow. Yeah, so you look at that as ongoing in the world. You look at in June we've had Trump and Musk broke up epically. You have Ukraine drone attack Russians fighter jets and whatever. It's like, why do you care about Chinese drama? It's the last thing you should be caring about, right? And then now LA is like, I don't know what is ongoing there. It's insane. And look at what's going on in the world. Japanese people cannot afford rice anymore, and and who cares about drama? it's like so little drama happening in Dramaland. Nothing is great, interesting, engaging at all. And then you turn around and look at news channel. It's like, every day it's like, every day something happens. It blows your mind. Escape, but we don't have good ones. Unfortunately, Chinese Dramaland is not going to provide you that these days. Because recently, there's no very good thing that can provide escapism at all. Maybe people should go back to lock themselves up and then baking. Like back in the COVID time. This morning, I woke up and I baked a bread. Just before I started the live stream, I took it out of the oven. It's still cooling. Now it's fully cooled. It's like right here next to me. I can show you my bread. It's very successful sourdough. Look at how good it is. Ever since I discovered baking last year, I think I've now mastered fermentation. I have multiple fermentation going on at home. So I bake bread, I make pickles, I make my own yogurt. It's all fermentation. My whole kitchen is filled with fairies of fermentation, 24/7. It's really good. My sourdough is really good. I show people very pretty pickles too. And my Sichuan spirit. So this is radish. It's the red radish. But then when it gets pickled, all the color goes to the liquid, so the radish becomes white. Super good. I have a huge jar that's like sitting on the floor. I cannot take it up because it's too heavy, like those pickle jar, but it has like long beans and radish, ginger in it, and it's a huge one. And the radishes, because they're ready, so I took them out of the big jar and then put them in the fridge in a small jar. It's not in vinegar, it's in pickled solution, so it's 6% salt water. When you pickle it, if you want to do the Sichuan pickle, right? I can teach you how to do it if you want me to tell you. I can do it here. If anybody want to know how to do Sichuan pickle. That's the Sichuan type of Chinese pickle. And it will be, when you eat it, it's quite sour. But all the acid is generated by itself. It's not by adding vinegar. Although my parents are not from Sichuan, so they don't do pickles. They're not Sichuan local. But Chongqing is very famous for its pickles. Yeah, if anyone wants to learn, like I can, but if I have to film a video, it's gonna take a long time. Basically, you have to do it a month. You have to show the process. You have to start from scratch and then do it for a month. It's too much for my channel because I have to buy new equipment, which I don't want to do. Okay, so if you want to do pickle, ideally you find the type of jar that's made with clay, ideally, okay? The Chinese kind of jar, if you can find, which has a double lid, it has like a bowl on top that you can cover, and then you add water on the rim so that it seals it. It's a water seal. Ideally, you find that because the clay jar, they can breathe. There are tiny holes in the clay like this type of thing. It has basically a bowl upside down on top, and you add water to the rim, so you seal it. Ideally, you find this. And also because it's dark, so it keeps the light away from, it's in dark. And when you ferment it, it's better than having strong light. If you don't have that, if you cannot find that, you can use a glass version. So the glass jar would be, well, just looking like this. The same size, same kind of configuration. Like that. But everything is in glass. Now the thing with glass is it doesn't breathe first. It has light penetrating it. So you put it in a dark corner. And if you are worried, you can cover it with something so that it doesn't get too much light. The not breathing may cause, let's say, certain failure, but honestly, not that much of a difference. If you know how to do it properly, it still is not going to give you a problem. But ideally, you find a clay pot. And the good thing about glass is you can see the progress. You can always see what is ongoing, right? And if you are in the dark, in the pot, you can't see it. So that's first, doing it properly. If you don't have a huge container, you still want to do it, you find like the jar that I just took out, a glass jar, that could work too. You need to seal it basically in some way. Try to prevent mold from growing. If you don't seal it, you're going to have that problem. So glass jar, you can seal, big, small, you can always work that out. Ideally clay, but if not clay, glass. What you want to do usually, okay, is very dense vegetable like radish, ginger, long beans, like the green long beans. People sometimes also pickle carrots. You can also pickle cauliflower to some extent, I think. Sometimes chili, you know, those like red chili, very small red chili. Usually these are the common things. If you want to pickle anything, usually not leafy, not like green leafy. If it's leafy, it has to be very dense, like a cabbage. Very hard, crispy cabbage. So things like spinach, napa, usually don't do it because it tends to get mushy if you're not successful. So you find those dense vegetables and you wash them clean, chop them in bigger chunks and let them dry. So the surface is not gonna have any water. You want them to dry, and then maybe like radish, you can wash it, wait till it's completely surface dried, long beans completely surface dried, then cut them into big pieces. If it's long beans, you don't break them, you tie them in a knot, like multiple, you have like 10 of them, and then you tie them into a knot. So you put them in the jar. The first time you put it in the jar. You put in, if you have like distilled water, you can just use that. If you're worried about, if you only have tap water, you can boil it and let it cool so that it's basically cleaner, right? You don't have too many weird bacteria in there. And you do a 6% solution. So if you have 1 liter of water, you have 60 grams of salt. So just do the 6% by weight of the water. And you put the stuff in, and ideally you put some heavier, bigger chunk on top so that you make everything stay under, right? It doesn't float up. You try to prevent all the vegetables from floating to the top and in contact with air. So you make them squishy and then press them down, and maybe a huge chunk of radish on top just to hold it down. And the standard would be just using salt water, but you can actually add a little bit like Sichuan pepper, dried basil leaf, those type of spices to add a little bit flavor. And some of them can prevent mold from growing, but it's not absolutely necessary. It's just like to your own taste. I would add a little bit Sichuan pepper, a little bit basil leaf, and another type of Chinese spice that I don't know the English name. I can look it up later. And then add to that water and just submerge everything. And it needs to be like room temperature. Don't make it hot, because anything higher than body temperature will kill the bacteria. And soak the whole thing in it. And the first time you do it, you need to add some sugar, because fermentation, the bacteria needs to eat carbohydrate to ferment. And because it's 6%, it's actually quite high solution. If you don't add sugar, they don't have enough to eat. If you lessen the salt, they can react faster, but it might be more not safe because the water is not salting enough. So the bacteria, bad bacteria may be growing. So to strike the balance, 6%, but you add quite a few spoons of brown sugar, white sugar, cane sugar, whatever, that's all good. And it's not gonna make the water really very sweet. If you have a smaller jar, maybe just 1 spoon. If you have a big jar, a couple of more, and then you seal it. If you don't have the bowl that has the water seal, then you would have to have those, whatever type of seal that can be relatively airtight. And before you seal it, if you are worried about it, you can add, after you've put everything in, you add a pour in high percentage alcohol, 50% or above. It's like really high vodka or Chinese liquor, really high. Just on the top, add a little bit to seal the top of the thing, and then you close the lid. Usually within 2 to 3 days, it starts to bubble. Carbohydrate starts to get produced. Not carbohydrate. What am I saying? Carbon dioxide starts to come out as bubbles. And if your lid is not breathing itself, you have to open it and let the air come out. Otherwise, it's gonna spill out. For the water-rimmed jar, because the gas can come out of the water and then bubbles, so you don't need to do anything. Just make sure the water never dries out completely. The water is always in the rim, and then when it starts to act, you will hear bubbling. You'll hear it starts to like farting. So the jar will start farting with the bowl on top. And usually it reacts reactively in the first, say, 3-5 days, and then it starts to quiet down. And you need to prepare 2 things to make sure it's safe. First is you have a pH tester, like whatever strip you have buying, and ideally the liquid, when you want to eat it, should be between 3.5 and 3.8. So it's acid, it's acidic, and it's under 4. If it's not under, there is the possibility of it has not healthy things for you. The other thing is, if you're worried about whether the thing is safe, you can also go and get the testers. Like this type of, it's for aquarium, like people test if the water is safe for the fish. And you find the multiple things, and you look for nitrate, and then nitrite and nitrate. So there are 2, nitrite and nitrate. So they are the cancer-causing things that can come out of a pickle solution. But usually when your acidity is low, it's like 3.5, that cannot exist. So they don't exist at the same time in the liquid. If the nitrite and nitrate are there, it's not acidic enough. If it's acidic enough, it disappears. So you want your pickle, by the time you want to eat it, basically you test the water and it's right amount of pH, and then it doesn't have the nitrite and nitrate, and then it means it's safe and you can eat it. It depends. I mean, the first time you do it, I'd say wait at least 2 weeks. The first round you do, pickle everything at least 2 weeks. After that, because your solution is already live with all the bacteria, the time can shorten. But every time when you take out something, you don't let any oil ending up in your solution, because pickle water cannot touch any oil. It will spoil it. So make a clean chopstick, long chopstick to take them out. And then if you want to add new things, just make sure they're all cleaned up and then again dried, and you put them in. And if the pickle water is getting less and less, you add new solution, which is still 6% salt water to fill it up. But when you add new solution, you need to give it more time for the sort of pH to reach that number. Again, you can test with your stuff to see if it's 3.5 to 3.8 and if it has any nitrate, and that's pretty safe. And you can radish, like red radish, white, big, long radish, a smaller red radish, they are kind of like the same thing. Very hard cabbage, pretty nice. You can do cauliflower, but it wouldn't be able to stay in it for too long. Once you've done it, you have to take it out. Long beans are really good. Long beans are the best thing, okay? kimchi is a different type because you use napa cabbage and it works differently. And it very short fermentation. It's like 3-5 days you're done. But this type of, you need 2 weeks the first time at least. And then once you've pickled it, you can take it out, put it in fridge, or you can leave it in the jar and eat it for a while, like for a month or 2, it's all good. And you don't want mold to grow, right? If you see mold growing on top, then you have a problem. You have to redo it just to be safe. And this type of pickle is very strong flavor. Like it has a very nice flavor and it's sour. But because it's not like kimchi, you add spice and a lot of garlic in it, so it doesn't have that. It just, like the radishes are the best thing to get pickled. Any type of hard, like rooted type of vegetable. There's another type in Chongqing that we usually don't find here in the US that is perfect for it. So not anything that easily gets mushy. You cannot use that. And ways to eat pickles, not just as pickles. The best way to eat them is actually to cook them with meats and other things. You stir fry, makes a huge difference. The soured radish, when you eat them just as them, they're nice, but they taste best when they meet stir fry oil, high temperature oil, and you stir fry it with other things, and they turn 10 times better. Now, 菜头, not 贡菜. 贡菜 is those like thin pieces. I'm saying I think they belong to still whether it's the cabbage or the cauliflower family, but it's the root, 青菜头, the thing that you use to make 榨菜, basically. That can get pickled too. That's very nice. Yeah, it's the same thing, but 榨菜 is made in a different way than this type of pickle. The long green beans, once they get pickled, you chop them into very small pieces, and you stir fry them with minced pork with a little bit dried chili. It's the best thing in the world, called 下饭菜, which is if you want to eat a lot of rice, which probably is not good for you, and you need motivation to eat that bland rice, you make the long bean chopped up and fried by minced pork. That's the best thing. If you've never tried it, you've not lived. It's like the best thing. It's hard to describe because if you've never tried it, you don't know how good it is. And you don't have appetite, you eat that, you immediately have it. It's like magic. So I started pickle this year because I want to do that. I want to do the long bean fried with minced pork, but I can't get it here. You cannot get the pickled long bean. There's nowhere to be found. Not even in Chinese supermarket. Nobody get it ready-made. You have to pickle it yourself. So that's why I started pickling. Radish, long bean, they're like a ginger. And in summer, they in China, we pickle the young ginger. So not the ginger roots once it got so fibrous and hardened as spices you cook. When they're young, when they're fresh, and they look like human fingers, and you pickle them, that's heaven. Like young ginger. Not everywhere people eat that. I cannot, like there are a couple of vegetables that are so magical that if you've never tried them, it's impossible to tell you how good they are. One is the young ginger. One is the 空心菜, which is the, you would find that in Chinese market. The hollowed middle green vegetable. It has high, it's like spinach. It has very high, what's the word for it? What acid that's actually stone making. Not really that good for you, but occasionally eating one is like the best thing. And another thing is the pickled long bean. Pickled long bean, 空心菜, and the baby gingers is like the best thing in the world. Wow, green tomato. Wow, yes, oxalic acid. Thank you. It has very high oxalic acid. The 空心菜 thing. So you get like the feeling on your teeth when you eat it. It's like rough. So usually you use hot water to either you stir fry and you don't drink the juice, or you use hot water to run through it. But it's really nice. Like these couple of things are so good. If you've never tried young ginger, just remember, if you get an opportunity, you have to try it either in stir fry when it gets cut into shredded thin pieces, stir fry that with meat, or pickled. When it's pickled and it's stir fried, it's so good. It's the one thing that I miss most about China in summer is in summer in Chongqing, you will have unlimited supply of that. And you can make it pickle, you can stir fry it, it's the best thing. Where I am, you cannot buy it. Like they don't do the baby gingers here. Water spinach? I don't know if it's water spinach. Like it has a tube. It's like it has a leaf that's sticking out of a tube. It's a round tube. Very hollow in the middle. If you've eaten that, then it's that. Only that vegetable looks like that. No other things looks like that. It just has a very tubular what is that? It's like a leaf coming off a tube. Maybe back to shawarma. Talking about food is gonna make everyone hungry, hey? Yeah, it's a pretty loaf of bread. And it's very hard. It's like North America flour. I tried French flour before and it's soft. Like the shell is usually very soft. It cannot get this hard. Drama. Let's go back to drama. Let's talk a bit about drama more. I mean, those are like the dramas I've talked about. Those are dramas I was watching. And in May we finished Prisoner of Beauty. I've made a video about that. What a Wonderful World. I've also made a video about that. Feel very disappointed, really. May was pretty boring. I really didn't see anything that interesting happening. Anything else that was happening? Contender was like not really doing that well. It's okay. If they want to make second season, I will see. Anything else? May is pretty quiet. Yeah, ginger for summer. Yes, ginger for summer, radish for winter. That's the Chinese thing. I don't know if yeah, maybe I have like the 空心菜, right? But ginger is something I can't grow myself. I really want baby ginger. Baby ginger are so good. If you've never tried that, it's like missing a great thing in this world. You have to try it. Baby ginger. 20.99. No, what is that? Hollow tube one, yeah. 20.99. I have no idea what that is. Is that a drama? Weak Hero. Which country has that? I know these days there are a lot of short dramas that are very popular, like in China too, and everybody wants to go and make short dramas, but somehow I just don't. I can't get into those short dramas. Oh, it's a Korean drama. K-drama. Why do those guys look the same? Sorry. Like, I just clicked into Weak Hero and it says the 3 leads, right? And their pictures are lined up. I can't tell one from another. They look exactly the same to me. Sorry. These 3 guys, am I supposed to tell the difference between them? How am I gonna do that? Sorry. Maybe they look differently when they get styled in the drama. But I'm just looking at like Google, the first 3 guys, like in the casting. I'm like, They have the same hairstyle. And same, literally these 2 guys have the same face. How am I supposed to tell the difference? Oh, and can people tell me why this hairstyle is popular now in Korea? Like the wet couple of string, like they haven't washed their hair for 10 days. Why is that popular? Why would anyone make themselves look like that? What's wrong with volume and like clean washed hair? Can someone tell me why this is fashionable? Like this kind of hair. Why? Why? They even do it in anime. They even do it in animation, like Conan. Like the later episodes these days have the guy's hair much flatter, and the face looks just like compared to early days in the 90s, 2000s. Even animation characters become uglier with hairstyle. I don't get it. What's wrong with like 80s huge volume, like blow dry hair, like looks like lion's mane? What's wrong with that? It looks good. Why everybody has like stuck to their face looking like Dudley in Harry Potter hair? Why is that a thing now? Please don't make me do. You see, like I don't have that much time to do things that I know I'm not gonna make into a video. So if I watch it, I'm definitely not gonna make it into a video. Then I'll put it as lower priority just because I have other things to do. I'm doing this live stream today just because Thursday I have other things to do. I can't do it. And I've said on my channel multiple times, anything that's done by like Xiaozhan's drama, I'm not going to talk about it. Just because trouble. I don't want to look for trouble. I'm not interested in getting like 1 million trolls on my channel. I know it's going to happen. And there's nothing you can do about it. Whatever you say good, you're going to get trolled by people who hate him. You say something bad, you're going to get trolled by people who like him. It's like the world, you know, so better to just pretend it does not exist and you don't mention it. Otherwise, you just look for trouble. I can't help it. The world is like that, and there are plenty of like landmines in Chinese entertainment, let's say, but this is a particularly bad one, and I don't intend to step into it. It's just one of many hundreds of dramas that come out every year. It shouldn't get special treatment in any way, and you know, I can always afford not watching one for my own peace of mind. Youthful Glory. Youthful Glory. Ah, that one. I haven't watched it actually. Is it good? Is it Song Weilong and Bao Shang'en? Right? Why not mention it? Why should I? Nobody paid me. All the dramas I talk about, nobody paid me a penny to talk about it or not to talk about it. So I can decide what I want to talk about. There's plenty of dramas that air every year, and I don't get around to talk about it. Either because I don't have time to watch them. We just don't have 缘分. How about that? I'm Chinese. We don't have 缘分. Not because I am from Chongqing and he's from Chongqing, therefore I just have to talk about his stuff. That's unfair. Okay, it's a huge city, and I don't owe anything. Okay, no watchable, nothing special. Well, then I pass. Too many similar dramas. You know, I think I watch so many stuff, Chinese drama, because I'm doing this channel. That's why I watch it. But often I actually don't watch it willingly, unfortunately. Because I don't think most of them deserve my attention. Some of them are so bad, right? Even the so-called very good ones. I can honestly say, put it in comparison to the best productions in the world, often it's nothing. It's not even up to my standard. If I am being very ideal, say in an ideal world, for example, a drama comes out, I would want it to have this, and meet this requirement and this standard. And then you look at Chinese drama and almost you cannot even find one every year in China. If I am being honestly 100%, like say if I have full control of the production and I'm not worried about like censorship or budget or anything, the standard I want it to reach, pretty much no Chinese drama can do these days. I'm actually super picky, and I know what is good and bad. I can tell. It's just like the situation is, it's impossible to have those type of level of production done these days, and you have to make do. You only have to basically say this part of the drama, this point they do well, but everything else is like crap, right? You have to like literally separate it into compartmentalize a production, because if you want everything to actually be fully like, oh, this is really good, like I fully full-heartedly recommend it. I think this is like landmark, milestone. It needs to stay on, I don't know, like whatever forever. Barely anything that comes out of Chinese drama that deserves that kind of. And I always mellow a little bit more when I do my videos. I talk about things. I'm being nice. If I'm really who I am when I talk to my close friends or industry friends about like the words I use, and then how heartless and ruthless I am. If I am like that on YouTube, I'm already dead. Like I'm already been killed by a million trolls of their 哥哥 and 姐姐, okay, the fans of this channel would not exist if I say what I say in private. And I am very good at using metaphors to ruthlessly describe what I think about certain things. And they're all very interesting metaphors, but you'll never see them, and I'll never say that on my channel, because they're like murder. Zhang Ziyi, no, she's a product of her time. We don't live in the same time now, so we don't get another Zhang Ziyi. Impossible. And even Zhang Ziyi, she's not like a all trick, like a pony thing. Like she can't do everything. Even Zhang Ziyi, she's a peculiar weapon that needs to be used in a peculiar way. Just like one thing that she does really well, and because she's designed for it. You cannot use basically a surgery scalpel to cut up a pig. It's not gonna work, right? Butcher has butchering knife, and cutting humans have human knife, and they're tailored for different things. She's an actress who's tailored for a rather narrow spectrum, and there are many things she cannot do, and she won't do well. You only use her for what she does best. And then also, she's really the product of her time. Right now, we live in such a different time now. Even from the point of like talent scouting, like trying to find out new coming, how they come in, and the younger people who have grown after the millennium, the 2000s after, who were born after that. Now it's like even born after 2010s. Young people coming up. They grew up in such a different environment, in such a different world around them in China. That's completely different from what Zhang Ziyi was exposed to when she was born in the 70s. Think about that. You are not gonna get a second Zhang Ziyi. It's of that time, and we don't live in the same time now. Chinese drama reviewers. I mean, I watch all those Chinese drama reviewers on Bilibili. I know like all the famous account. Not like I know them personally, but I know what they do and usually how they look at things. I wouldn't say I agree. Like there is somebody who's my doppelganger who always say something that I think. I don't think so. Often is like this person probably have 70% overlap with me, but then the other 30% I don't agree with them. Some other people are like completely ridiculous. Some are some yeah, like there are plenty. All the famous ones I know, like in China, in terms of what they do and then the type of content they put out. I even know a few personally, but I also know that their channel have gone through a lot of changes. So sometimes when you hear what they say, it's not necessarily them saying it. And it's for all types of reasons. You know, when it ends up being a commercial enterprise and there is sort of like money to be made and KPI to be hit, at certain times they don't really say what they really mean. Begin again. Oh, I haven't. I know that one though. Is it like a person who has two timelines, like two different herself? Something like that, 钟楚曦. One thing about 钟楚曦 is I find it's really hard to watch her perform. I don't get her performance. I don't get her acting at all. Whether it's in movies or in dramas, I never got touched or moved by her performance. I don't know why, but 钟楚曦 doesn't work on me. Whatever she does. Like I can see like physically she's very recognizable and she has beautiful figure and her face is quite unusual in Chinese drama land in terms of you can't think of another person in any way looking like her in any sense. Yet she doesn't get to me. Her performance doesn't get to me at all. I try, but I can't somehow. She's another person who doesn't work on me. I don't have favorite directors in Chinese drama. And I think directors are not that. Because directors in dramas are very not first line. Chinese dramas are very star celebrity led. It's like, for example, US movies are heavily producer decided and then director influenced depending on how famous the director is. China's movies are very director led. Everyone is like behind that. Unless you have like super big star, but usually super big star also works with super big star directors. And then dramas, on the other hand, is very much the celebrity. The actor, actress is led, then the director. Directors often are just hired on to do the job. They are not having special importance. So in dramaland, directors are in many ways not that important, unfortunately. Like scriptwriters, which is ridiculous. But if you say among the current directing, let's say romantic dramas, then, I mean, the guy who directed Fairy and Devil is really good, but he doesn't get work. I don't know, maybe he doesn't listen to people. He's too strong-minded, therefore they don't want him, but he's a good director. Blossom's director is a good director for romantic idol dramas. Zhong Yanguang still has some very good directors like Kong Sheng Li Xue who direct serious, proper, big dramas. There are a couple of other directors who are very good, directing those very proper, big ones. They're kind of like veteran directors in the industry. And then there are plenty of nobody cares who the director is productions where it's the star-led productions. And I mean, Liu Chang is a pretty good director, but he hasn't done many things recently. Like the guy who directed Hikaru no Go, and previously like the Liu Haoran and Tan Songyun drama many years ago, the high school drama. I think it's also done by him. Like that guy is pretty good, but he hasn't had that many things coming out in the last 1 or 2 years. There are a few young directors who are pretty good. And then there are like serious proper drama directors. And then there are very famous directors who get like high profile jobs all the time, but who can't do a good job, like Xu Bing and Cao Dun, sorry. Who are like good at doing certain things, but actually not directing, yet they somehow believe they can, or the people around them think they're great. So they keep doing stuff that does not make sense. Someday or One Day is a pretty good one, hey? Yeah. Well, if he's rumored to work with Yu Shuxing, I'd be happy to see that. I hope it happens well. I hope it's a good day. For Xianxia, right, it's just so... It's so hard to break through that genre now. It's too used. Even the best of the best is like... nothing we haven't seen. And it's very hard to do different new work. It's costly if you want to do everything differently from the standard 仙侠. Then even from production design's point of view, you have to redo the sets, redo the costumes, do it in a different way. It doesn't fit into the existing streamlined production, and you are gonna have basically you have a unique mode. You have to do it all with money. And dramas are panicking these days because nobody watches them anymore, so everything wants to get short. Every platform is doing 12 episodes drama. They don't want to do 30, 40 episodes drama anymore, unless it's like absolutely necessary. It's like one of those historicals or whatever important tasking dramas. Otherwise, they just avoid doing it like plague, which is unfortunate. And it's funny, right? It's like, why would you even think it's because it's long that people don't watch it? It's because it's crap that people don't watch it. If it's good and it's long, it's even better. If every episode is as good, let's say, as the first season of Game of Thrones, you can run 100 episodes. It's still gonna be watched by everyone. Everyone is gonna watch it. It's nothing to do with whether it's short or long. It's like whether it's good or bad, right? 5 minutes of shit is still shit. It doesn't mean because it's 5 minutes, therefore it becomes gold. It doesn't work like that. Somehow these platforms, I don't get it. Like they're like, we're making everything short because long things waste money and don't get seen. I'm like, well, you started it wrong. You sold episodic things by length. It is the plan that you guys all worked together and decided on, which is a 60 episodes drama will sell more for 40 episodes drama. So now you get like boomerang in your face and you're blaming the audiences in the market. No, it's karma is a bitch and it's coming back to bite you because you did it. Nobody forced you. Why would it make sense to sell things by episodes? It's like the longer it is, the more expensive it is. Why? Why is that the case? Every season of Sherlock is 3 episodes. Yet it's a bigger IP. The most 99% of Chinese dramas that are 60 episodes long. Who cares if it's only 3 episodes? We want good stuff. We don't care about... I don't know, like these people are stupid. I look at those platform people. It's like, people don't want to watch long and blame it because it's long. You made it long. You made it 60, 70, 80 episodes dramas previously. And you think that's more value. Now you think it's not value. So double standard. Everything is up to you. Whatever you say, hey? And you still put out crap and still force people to eat it. Ugh. They don't respect writers. They don't respect genuine good creators. They don't respect the integrity of a good story. Yet they just like, we make it short, therefore it's good. Oh my god, those morons. Sorry. I just have like so much problem with these type of stupid actions. Now, I think Gong Li and Zhang Ziyi are both very well known. They're just like slightly different generation because Gong Li is much older. Like she came out quite a long time before Zhang Ziyi. Zhang Ziyi is the younger generation in comparison to Gong Li. And then like the later Nini, Liu Haocun, they're even younger. That's like to do with Zhang Yimou's films. Gong Li, truly speaking, Zhang Ziyi, I don't think she's in any way comparable to Gong Li. Gong Li as an actress is much more powerful than Zhang Ziyi. But Zhang Ziyi is very specific in her way. You also don't have anyone who can replace her or like similar to her. The classic example is everybody knows Tong Yao looks like her. But, you know, like the acting, totally two different worlds. Gong Li is again, of her time. And you don't get another Gong Li ever. I don't necessarily want to compare them because I think they're very different actresses. We haven't had a really major film star actress in China for years. That's real. We still like are leaning on like Zhang Ziyi, who's been around for how many decades now, being like on top. It's because no one else can challenge, and there's no newcomers that can fill up the the void. Gongli is so much. Goodbye, people. If you need to go to sleep, for sure go. And I'll try to stop this at 12 today. We don't need to run that long. The younger people are. I mean, I really think Wenqi is hopeful. I just don't want the world to destroy her before she can fully shine. One problem she has is obviously she's from Taiwan, although she most of the time spent her time in mainland. Like she basically grew up in mainland, although she's from Taiwan. So I don't want that to get into, like make it complicated. It would be a pity if it causes any problem for her, because potentially she can be a really great big star in the future. And she's so unique. For actresses, pretty or good acting, right, is one thing, but being so recognizably different from everyone else, and you can't think of another person in any way that even comes close, that's great. Most important for, especially like cinematic actresses, actors, the most important thing is being so unique and recognizable than actually being conventionally pretty, right? And she's very recognizable. Wenqi, that's her artist name. Her real name is Chen Wenqi, I think. Her surname is Chen, but she usually just uses Wenqi as her name. She's a pretty. I think she's like like I think about the young actresses who's just out of college age, like early 20s. Very young actresses. She probably is the best one. Off top of my mind, I can't think of anybody else. She's like in her own class, and everyone else is like in a different place. Guys, Zhou Dongyu. Zhou Dongyu hasn't had a good movie for a long time, I think. Zhou Dongyu also is way too specific, right? She needs just like very specific type of roles. Whose name? Writing whose name? Wenqi. WENQI. Wenqi is just out of college. Yeah, she just, I think last year, she just did her graduation big performance. Because she was studying at, can't remember if it's Zhongxi or Beidian. But anyway, it's one of those two schools. Chen Wenqi. Because her surname is Chen, Chen. But she is just known as Wenqi. She doesn't use her surname. Guys, I really cannot think of a very good young actor who's the type of like international stars. It's very hard to think of one. Mainland. Cinema, can't think of one. Dramaland, oh, there are a few, but you don't know how it's gonna go. Actors, as much as they can do, they're limited by the soil, the script, the overall environment. If there's no good work on paper that can be done, what can actors do? Actors can make A become A+, I think, but barely anyone can make a B become A. And if you have a C, good luck. People may not blame you because they think you do a good job, but still that work is not gonna get any awards recognition, and then your role in it is not gonna get any recognition too, because the overall bottom line is too low. So as talented as you are, as good as you are, if you don't live in the right time of good work kept being done, being written, being produced, useless. Yang Zi and Dili Roba. I mean, in a way, Dili Roba, because she is by a hard standard quite pretty, right? It's like the type of, she's got that bone there. As long as she doesn't suddenly get like 200 kilos super fat, she's gonna look pretty good. And with a little bit patching up here and there over time with all those things you can do these days with like cosmetics and whatever, she's gonna look good all like for a long time. Okay, Dili Roba's face, her face is her weapon. That's like by a hardcore standard, bone structure wise, impressively well put together face. The only thing with her is whether she can develop her acting, or is given opportunities to actually try, because she hasn't really grown her acting depth and width for years. She's been caged into this idol period drama type of roles, and she's been in habitual, very repetitive roles and actings that she almost, you don't see possibilities of her anymore. But it's not like she doesn't have a good baseline to start with, right? Her body, her face, her voice, she's a very good imitator. Her dancing, all those things are there. It's like her toolbox is full, brimming with stuff she can use. It's just never got really allowed to test out different waters. You don't know, because she doesn't play any type of role beyond what you've seen in the last 10 years, really. Thanks to Jiaxing's contract. You don't see her other possibilities. She doesn't get any of those roles. Obviously, you're not gonna see it. But I don't think it's impossible. If she leaves the current environment and gets more adventurous with her stuff, and she's moving towards her 30s, 40s, as she gets older, inevitably, she would have to venture out and do different roles than she always has done. And that may actually open a second door for her. To me, I feel she has possibilities and potentials. Quite. It depends on how far she wants to go, to kick off what she's been doing for the last 10 years and move to a different place, move on. Because she has good like base material, right? Think about her physical existence as her weapon. She has a very good, naturally already there weapon than most people. If you look at when she was like first, like Dili Roba, when she first came out in her early 20s, in all those auditions tapes, you look back at her then and now, it's like she kept herself in very great shape. Almost nothing changed. And she has that discipline, and then she has that good stuff to start with. The thing is, she needs to switch to a different direction, and definitely not do those stupid idol fantasy dramas anymore. Oh my god, it's just, look at her face. Obviously she's a wigger, so she has that very, what we call, like, from Han people's point of view, 异域 face. Her face actually can go very international. Her face can go, she can do roles that other Han ethnic Chinese actors could never touch. She has a lot of potential. She just needs to stop doing stupid dramas like she's been doing due to her contract for the last decade. That's Dili Roba. In that comparison, Yang Zi doesn't have any of that. Sorry. Yang Zi doesn't have any of that. In the world of actresses where everybody is drop dead gorgeous almost, she compares to no one. And that's just like how she's born. Like, there's nothing wrong or right about it. But doing this business, it's like doing any other business. If you want to be a fastest swimmer, you kind of have to have that particular type of body. That shoulder, that waist, that leg length, and then that body height. If you don't have that, you can't compete with people who have that, even if you're really talented, right? Yang Zi's problem is her raw material is Dili Roba still? No, I think it's at the end of her contract. This year should be the end of the contract, 10 years contract, something like that. So I think most likely she's gonna leave. She's gonna leave Jiaxing She's fully fledged, big enough to not care, right? She can have her own business now. So I think she should leave, and she probably will, and then I hope she can do something different after that. Movies are even worse, Daisy. If you want to know, movies are worse than dramas. Movies are so bad these days. Oh my god. YOLO's best movie? No. That movie is. That movie is way too cunning in its attempt. That movie is so cunning. It's even more than the. It's like more over the top female version of a Chen Sichen, trying to cash in on what is on the psychological pain pressure point of the general public. I don't like that attitude of storytellers. I find it's way too opportunist and taking advantage and not being genuine. And therefore not having depth. I don't like that type of story. But it's popular, yes. It made a lot of money, yes. Not my cup of tea. Not good movie either. Detective Chinatown 3 was a mess. It was in Japan and it's like, oh, nobody knows what's going on. The fourth one is actually a better movie, but it has, again, missed opportunity because Detective Chinatown 4 could be so much more than what it is. But I think he's still too afraid of departure, too far away from the detective story that it has built up the brand. You go in a story, you find the detective part is actually not that important. It's the other thing. But for that story itself, it cries for more the other thing than even the detective. So the detective story can be even less. And the other story, which touches a real thing that happened in history, which is a real pain and a real forgotten history and bloody and really sad. Like, if you actually are touching it, you should go full in. Might as well just all eyes on that. Yeah, the movie Detective Chinatown kind of held it back and then camouflaged it with ridiculous farce and comedies like the Wang Baoqiang being an Indian, which is like, what the heck? It's a missed opportunity for the fourth one of Detective Chinatown, but at least it tries to do something that I think, compared to what this director has done and the producer has done, Chen Sichen, it's at least a step forward than his usual stuff. So I would still give him credit for that. But I think it could have been better. Could have been a lot better. I feel really, really sad it didn't. And in comparison, YOLO is like, you should go and watch the original Japanese one. Yeah. 19-0 is the fourth one. The third one is the Tokyo one. The second one is the New York one. Hi Mom is the thing that made her famous. Jialing, yeah. And at least I think because it comes from her real story, like her relationship with her mom, it comes from a really genuine place, even though it's not like the best thing out there. I think that's a more genuine work than YOLO. YOLO is so, it's so all done for the publicity of, oh, she lost 100, like whatever, kilo or no, I don't know, something like that. It's too. Not a fan of that kind of thing. In the Mood for Love. Yeah, I've known that. I don't like it. Wang Jiawei's movies, right? I don't get it. Like, I am not that open. It's like I don't look at contemporary art and pretend I understand them, because I don't. That type of movie, like In the Mood for Love, is I recognize it's pretty, but I don't get it, and I wouldn't pretend that I do. Or I appreciate that. It's like going to MoMA. The best thing is to get some souvenirs and enjoy the space because it's like so tall and open up. But in terms of the art exhibition that's displayed over there, I'm like, I can do that too. Even a chicken or dog can be prettier. So, like, you know, so I wouldn't pretend to be like so sophisticated that I understand very abstract and conceptual stuff that people do. If I don't get it, I'll just say, not my cup of tea. I'm the shallow person who would rather look at a pretty painting or a handsome face. So like Wang Jiaowei's movies are not my thing. And then like his Shanghai Blossoms, right? On one hand, I can recognize why he gets so much praises, because it's very different from what's being done in Chinese drama these days. It is completely different in a way, but it does not mean just because it's different, therefore it's really good. It's like, it's pretty, it's different, I'll appreciate that, but there are things it does that I don't get too. It's like, it's not really lending to the storytelling. In the world of visual storytelling, I think I'm very old school. I don't buy into flashy camera movement, crazy special effect, like weird design camera that nobody has used that can fly into your armpit and come out. Like, I don't buy into that. You can do it, it looks cool. If it's a music video or commercial, cool. But if you're putting it in a lengthy 100, 200 minute movie or 40 episode drama, you're stupid, right? Like, I would literally just call that being not making sense. But that's me. I'm pretty old-fashioned in that. Because people, if they're just trying to make it look cool and flashy, I feel like that's very shallow. That is self-indulgence. That is showing off. That is not understanding and respecting audiences and not really wanting to tell a story. They just want to have fun and feel good about themselves. And I hate that attitude. If I detect, you know, a little bit of that attitude coming from the creators, I immediately get put off. Magnolia Awards hasn't happened yet. It's gonna happen at the end of this month on 27th. So we have half a month to go before a little bit more than that, 17 days, before they actually do the ceremony and let you know who's got it. Dream within dream. I hope it has fun. Like, dream within the dream. I just want it to be fun. I don't want anything else. Like, it's a fun idol period drama with ridiculous setup, and that's enough. Just be fun. Flying in the armpits. Yeah, I mean, look at what a wonderful world. It's attempting to do that. Their camera is trying to fly into Yinfang's face or like whatever. I'm like, why? What does it do for the narrative, for the story, for the characters? It doesn't do anything apart from showing people you can fly a freaking drone, or you can use a weird, I don't know, tiny pinpoint camera that's on a gimbal that can move forward and backward. Like, what? Like, now leave those things to YouTubers who review gears. Leave those Insta 360 videos of people having the fisheye, whatever, 360-degree camera on their helmet and going to the world and sticking the camera into a hole in the ground and filming ants running by, right? Leave that to YouTubers. Don't put it in dramas or films. If it's not helping the story, it looks stupid. Yeah, dream within the dream is where people stab in triangles. Psu, 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 and then they turn. and the sand and the dust come up. It's so ridiculous. I think I want to see that because it's so ridiculous. It is that one. Dream within the dream. Yeah, Song Jia has to get it for the best actress. If it's not her, it's rigged. It does not make sense. Because look at the other four ladies. It's not like they're bad, but in comparison, not on the same level. Now, I think the seizure triggering SD is like at a particular frequency. Because they've tested it. And there's this very specific frequency, right, that happened with the animation in Japan. And it's like, if it's more, it's less, it's not going to happen. It's just like that zone. And it's very specific. neon lights don't flash in that frequency. They can't. They're very... Neon lights are gone now. It's very sad. Like 99% of neon lights in the world are replaced by LED. They don't look the same. They don't have the same temperature. It's like neon lights are very warm. They have that dreamy, warm, glowy look. And they show up on camera differently than LED, but everywhere is using LED because it's a lot cheaper and it saves a lot of energy and it's a lot cheaper to make and maintain. Whereas neon lights are very expensive. I didn't find this out until recently. And how actually difficult it is to make a neon light sign and how expensive it is. And if it gets broken, how much money it costs to redo it. I'm like, oh, that's why people are not using it anymore. I think it makes sense because cost effect wise, it's so not making sense, but it's so beautiful. But you're not going to stop people from replacing it because financially it does not make sense. So they're going to phase out eventually. Sad. Good food drama, small drama like called Chef Hua. Ah, yeah, Chef Hua is pretty interesting. Any good food drama? Well, that's tricky. It's not easy. You should go and watch documentary. 舌尖上的中国. There's a channel on YouTube of a guy. I highly recommend you check out. He's an Italian who's in China and who's a professional chef. And he's done not that many, like he only started making videos, I can think last year or a year before. So he hasn't had that many videos on his channel, only 17, but they are gorgeous. They're like the first top-notch documentary production that shocks you with its quality. And you're like, this guy is so good and not enough followers. So Saint Cavish. So just type in Saint, S-A-I-N-T, C-A-V-I-S-H. Just called Saint Cavish. And this guy's channel only has 17 videos, but you have to watch all of them, minute by minute. And don't watch them when you're hungry, because he films really the most authentic and incredible Chinese food and how it gets made, and it's so well done. And you're like, if you're on a diet and at midnight, don't watch it, okay? You're not gonna be able to control it yourself. Go and watch his channel and his videos. It's so good, so good. Saint Cavish. His videos are better than dramas. His videos are so good, better than dramas. And I am shocked at the quality of his work. Li Landi, Tan Jianci, Jackson Yi. Who is Jackson Yi? Yang Qianxin? Is that his English name? I have no idea. Song Zuo. Dai Gaozheng is not a good actor. No, not good enough. Dai Luo, Zhai Zilu is pretty good. Zheng Yecheng is pretty good. Yeah, there are certain actors. I cannot say who their name is because this would give me trouble. They have somehow very good reputation, but I do know because through personal channels about certain messes with them, and I'm like, oh my god, I would not want to work with a person like that. So among the names somebody has mentioned, there's one person I know that she is oh, I already told you it's a she. I cannot tell you anymore, but she's very different from the public image she has, let's just say. And I definitely would not want to work with a person like that. As far as I can go. So there's always that filter too, right? Because certain things you would never find out about certain people. If you don't, it's fine. They look pretty. They're like nice actors and actresses. It's all good. If you, like by the moment you find out certain things, you're like, oh my God, this person is despicable. and then you can no longer look at them the same way as before. Everything they do from that point onwards is going to be different in your eyes. Unfortunately, it is like that. And then I would put myself in the shoes of the people who work on the crew with this type of people, and I immediately feel my blood pressure is exploding. And if I'm a producer and director working on production, I would not want to work with people like that. And if they act like that, I will have a problem with them. If I'm powerful enough, I'll fire them. If I'm not, I'm going to be very pissed. And it's not going to be a very good 2 month, 3 month working together. So if you find out about certain people, then you're like, every time you look at like overwhelming positive responses to their stuff, you're like, lucky I didn't work on the project. You'd be thinking like that. But then, who knows? They may be very double-faced. If you are famous and powerful enough, they may be the best person. At least when they act in front of you to make you happy. You never know. Oh, Jackson. How weird. Why would he get called Jackson? I think Yi Yang is not, like, compared to those, like, the other two guys when they're in the boy band, right? He's a better actor for sure. But I don't think he's like, whatever he's surrounded with and his fandom and the fact that he has such a diehard fandom and all those things kind of is actually acting in it's not really a positive force for him to keep exploring acting. And his acting is, I still think there's a lot of problems with his acting. Also, there's a problem that I can't stare at his face for too long without feeling weird. I cannot tell you which actress I refer to, but it's one of those names in one of those persons typing out many Chinese names. I know it because of a personal friend who knows a project that she was on, and then the month of trouble that she's given the director. I'm like, oh my god. So don't worry, it's not gonna affect you, and knowing that is not gonna make a difference. If they get work, they get work. If they have stuff, they have stuff. You can only judge, like, you can judge them by their acting. And I would always say, even if, like, they're jerks in life, if they do good acting, there's still value. Like, you know, for producers and directors, like, if I can't find a better person, you're the perfect fit, I'll just deal with you. But you know, it's natural. Every human want to deal with good people. We don't want to deal with troublemakers. 5 more minutes and we'll be done. Is that why you dislike X Lee? You mean Xiao Zhan? I don't dislike him. I don't like him. I am in completely. I like, he doesn't work on me too. If you want to say that. Like, he's a human, right? Who comes from Chongqing and who's famous. That's what he is to me. But I don't want to deal with his fandom. There are enough wackos, okay, in his fandom. Like, really, really wacky. To the point where I think it's not worth it. Whatever. You know, he's just one star. Even if he has the most successful movie and most successful drama in the whole world, and I don't talk about it, so I don't get ad money on that, it's fine. I'd rather that than have, like, trolls coming to my channel and do a number on it. And it's like, for what? Nobody's gonna compensate me on that. If somebody is paying me for that, I can think about it, if it's worth doing. But no money comes in because of that. So no, not doing that. Rebirth. I don't know. Depending on Huangyang, hey? Depending on whether she's gonna... I feel like it's a sad thing for Rebirth if it gets delayed or stopped because of her. I mean, I actually am curious about the drama. But I think if if she is in any way boycotted by public, like it's not technically by government in any way top down that they can actually stop her because she didn't do anything wrong, so she can still have her stuff. But if people decided, well, if this drama has her, I'm not gonna watch it, as a silent protest against this type of thing, you really cannot blame the public either. And from the producer's point of view, who has this drama, whether they want to run the risk or whether they want to say reshoot, replace her, it's up to their decision. Whichever decision they make, it is, I think, from their view, the best choice they can do. So I am no one to judge whether it's good or bad or right or wrong. And in terms of if the dad really has something that's like shady that got found out because of this, I would only say, well, we can only say karma comes back really fast these days. After 2024, it seems karma is also sped up. Something that should have like come back in 20 years or maybe your next lifetime is like hitting you right in the face the next day. So if that happens, it happens. Entertainment is small, but it's also big enough to not have anybody there and not really just sink the ship just because one person disappears. Also, she barely really established any presence yet that's meaningful. So at this stage, right? If it's a food-centric drama, it's really hard to make. You're asking for so much. Think about the amount of consultant and the amount of prop and the amount of time and then the amount of money they have to put into just making things and not making it correctly and remake it. I don't talk about Zhang Lusun. There's no situation. She disappeared. She's disappeared from trending hashtags. I think there's some kind of like unanimous decision somewhere happened that decided she's not gonna show up in hashtags like that anymore. It's too much. People are having way too much pain of seeing her name 24/7. So now she's like taken off the trending hashtags pretty much. Do you have any recommendation for Chongqing other than Huangyang? Huangyang is just take a look from the outside, don't go in. Chongqing itself, the city, really is just the cityscape, the night view. It's pretty cool. Food is interesting. But if you want to see anything that's like extraordinarily culturally related, it's not in the city. It's usually outside. Like you go to mountains, you go to temples, you go to some ancient architecture, you go to Dazhu to look at the stone carving. That's like grand and incredible. It's all on the outside. Even the natural landscape, like the Wulong, the sunken like landscape, that's a hole, and then in the mountain there's a huge hole. They shot Transformers where like that landscape is outside of the city. You travel quite a while. It takes a day or two to go there. It's like outside. The city itself within is really, you go to the main Yuzhong district. You see the topography. You like walk around and being impressed about how weird it looks. Eat food, look at night, like go on the boat, looking at it at night, and those are the kind of thing. Chongqing is very culturally barren, truly speaking. And then apart from that main district, right, outside of it, there are a couple of mountains, a couple of natural landscape scenery places, hot spring that you can go to. And then further away, that would be quite far away to see Dazhu and Wulong and these places. Yeah. Yeah, Japan, hey, 深夜食堂. Japan is famous for that series. And that guy, the gourmet guy who goes out and eat, and he got invited in China, I think, for, by a Bilibili food channel who's very famous to eat and talk about food. I've watched their videos together because everyone likes him so much. He's the face of the food dramas of Japan. The wolf and Super Me. What is that? I have no idea. What is the wolf? Another legend of Fuyao or Yangzi, maybe Bailu. No. Can people stop making like those fantasy idol period drama-ish stuff? Can we just stop doing that for a bit? If you cannot cyberpunk it and make it different, stop doing it. It's so boring. I mean, like Feud, right? You're just looking at Zheng Shunxi 吐血 all the time for the first 10 episodes, and then Bailu being stupid and pretending to be innocent where she's not, and now she's like finally turned into her real self, and now these two guys are gonna, like, the couple is gonna stab at each other continuously for the rest of the drama. I'm like, why am I watching it? What's the point? Zheng Shunxi, when are you gonna play a character that fits your look and your age and the fact that you speak Cantonese so much sexier than Mandarin? Can we just get a Cantonese drama of Zheng Shunxi? Can we give up on Mandarin and at him playing High God? It's so boring. And look at his white hair in Feud and the kind of constantly constipated face. And he's always sad and he's always on the brink of like falling over because he's injured all the time. And I'm like, stop it. It's not sexy at all. And it looks boring as hell. Can we just have him as a contemporary guy with a gun and shoot up people and speak Cantonese? Please! Chongqing, ancient time, well, depending on which ancient time. Different dynasties will have it named differently. And Chongqing, historically, there are very different periods, depending on which point you're talking about. Before that time, after that time, it's a totally two different place, kind of that situation. So in historical dramas, it's rarely mentioned because Shu and Ba, so the Ba is the ancient Chongqing and Shu is ancient Chengdu. They're on the you know, like more inside of the Yangtze River. And historically, it's so hard to get to for people from the main kingdom, the middle kingdom of Henan and those, whether it's like other place, it's always hard to reach into the inside of Sichuan. So for a long time in history, it's very separated from other culture and mainstream, like it's not like it's not touched, but it's very far away. And it went through a huge population dip during the Qing dynasty type time, where almost everybody in Sichuan, end of Ming, beginning of Qing, it's like 8 out of 10 people are dead. Imagine. It's like the whole population got cut down by 80-90%. So a lot of current people who live in Sichuan region, including Chongqing, actually come from Huguang. So Hubei, Hunan, Guangdong, Guangxi, those areas, they come to Chongqing and repopulated it because most of Chongqing or Sichuan locals were dead, like completely killed. And if you're playing video game, coming out next month is the Fallen Feather, Wuchang, which is a set in parallel universe where people got infected by a weird disease and died. But it's set in Sichuan region at the end of Ming Dynasty, pretty much at the historical time where a huge amount of population got wiped out during that time. And this is a parallel universe, so it's not our timeline, but it's similar in terms of our female lead character goes into that and then realize everybody is mutated and dead. That's a video game coming out next month. So if you're interested, you can play that game and kind of get an idea about Sichuan and Chongqing is a weird place, depending on when you're talking about it. Like, at certain historical point, it's one thing, and after that, it's a totally different thing because of what happened. And one final thing before I go is, anybody from Europe here? Watching my channel? Anybody from Europe here? There's a really funny thing about Chongqing that you should know, which is most of the European people, if you like your current life, basically being who you are in your country with your name, with your language, you should thank Chongqing. Isn't that weird? Because Chongqing had a famous city that stopped Mongolian invasion into, so they tried to go to Chongqing, conquer the city, and then pass that and go to the west. And it's the descendant of the Mongolians. And the city held up for years, and the Mongolians didn't succeed. And their leader died at the city, trying to take the city down and couldn't. And by his death, the whole rule crumbled. And they couldn't settle who is going to be the next leader. So the tribes start to fight amongst themselves, and they didn't advance anymore further west. So that it stopped basically the Mongolians' invasion into passing Chongqing and ending up eventually would go to the west of China and then mid-Asia and then keep going to Europe. And it's funny that because they're so powerful, but they just got held off for a long time because Chongqing, that city, Diaoyucheng, was so powerful, so good at fighting that they stopped the invasions from Mongolians. So history would have been rewritten had the Mongolians succeeded and traveled all the way, and they will push to Europe, no problem, and they will take Europe. And then you will have a different history. It no longer would be the current Europe that you have, and it's because Chongqing was there historically to stop their invasion. It's like a really interesting history. You should go and search Diaoyucheng. Literally means fishing city. Diaoyucheng. That was like a really historical thing, and it's quite incredible. So, you know, when you have that topography, it has some natural advantages. Anyway, so that would be it. We have had good time today, and we didn't overrun it too much, although it's already 12:15 on my end. Please take care, and well, this week I probably won't do anything apart from the weekly. Next week we would have piled up a couple of dramas episodes, so I should be able to make more videos on dramas. And you can always look back. This live stream will still be online, and I'll try to time code it, although I have no idea how I'm gonna do it. Today is also all over the place. Please take care. I'll see you in my next video. Go back to your drama.